Hi there, I'm your host, Mr. Doyle, and this is a great undertaking. I'm doing the cowboy costume because it's the Dark Tower and a gunslinger, but I didn't really have much to work with. My friend Shane let me borrow this sweet Stetson cowboy hat, but I have a giant head, so it won't go down any further on my head. So this is my gunslinger costume. Giddy up. Now I know what you're thinking. This is just what the internet needed. Another Dark Tower video. It's not like there is an unending supply of Dark Tower videos on YouTube already or anything, right? The Dark Tower explained, the Dark Tower reviewed, the Dark Tower analyzed, decoded, dissected, ranked, a breakdown, a deep dive, a fan theory, everything you need to know, the ultimate guide, why you should read, how to read, what order to read, the Kingverse, the multiverse, my spoiler-free reaction, my reaction with spoilers, extended reading lists, etc., etc., etc. Now it's my turn to make all the same videos and regurgitate all the rhetorical talking points, thoughts, and ideas that all of these people have already covered over and over throughout the course of all the books, the movie, and the comic books. But I'm certain that my Dark Tower videos will be the quintessential Dark Tower videos. I'm certain that I have something new and fresh to add to the conversation, and I'm not at all late to the party. Nope, I have no reason to believe that my video will be buried underneath the never-ending, thumb-fatiguing scroll of Dark Tower content that has accumulated on YouTube over the last decade. Okay, I think I've gotten all the sarcastic ranting out of my system. It's just that there is no point in anyone making a Dark Tower video ever again. It's been done to death. The dead horse has been beaten to a bloody, lifeless pulp. So, what the fuck am I doing here? Why the fuck am I making another Dark Tower video? Where the fuck am I going with this? I have no idea. I took a week off from discussing King books and movies last week in order to highlight some other books and authors that I enjoy, and also to buy myself some time in order to figure out what angle and approach I would be using for this video on the Dark Tower. But in that time, there was no light bulb moment, no sudden epiphany, no clear direction or unique perspective presented itself. Instead, I just started writing a script, this script with the hope that it would all come to me as I wrote, but I'm 400 plus words deep and I still have no clue where any of this is going. I do want to say my intro rant about all the Dark Tower content on YouTube was not intended to be a slight against any of those creators. They are my fellow constant readers and King nerds, and I have nothing but love for them and their contributions to this conversation. It was merely my way of showing you that the last thing anyone needs from me specifically is another Dark Tower deep dive. I've left links in the description for some of those Dark Tower vids for anyone who is interested in a more nuanced, detailed look at the Dark Tower saga. Shout out to The Love of Reading and Dave Reads King. Go visit their channels and give them a sub. Hey, do you guys remember when Idris Elba was cast as Roland in the Dark Tower movie and like a whole bunch of Tower junkies lost their collective shit because he's black? Good times. What am I doing? Honestly, the thought of covering every single Dark Tower book and the myriad related content is exhausting. Maybe I'm subconsciously using the oversaturation of Dark Tower content on YouTube as an excuse to not do the work. I don't know, maybe. Probably. Also, I didn't want this channel to just be a Dark Tower channel for the next 20 years while attempting to cover every piece of Tower material. I mean, I love the Gunslinger Saga. Right? Wait, do I? I mean, I'm a constant reader. I'm the internet's busiest king nerd. So I must love the Dark Tower. It's an epic fantasy series, and I mean, I've never read any other fantasy novels. I've never even read Lord of the Rings. Holy shit, do I even like this genre? I've read the series and everything that comes with it once, but I recently tried to read the series again from the beginning, and I got to the Wolves of the Kala, and I just stopped. I just lost interest. Oh my god, what does it all mean? As I mentioned in my video for Dance Macabre, I have a very specific taste in books. I'm a horror thriller fan. That's my jam, my bread and butter. That's why I read King. I like the suspense and the scares and the sense of impending doom, monsters and demons and blood and guts and gore, dread, evil creatures, paranoia, and murderous mayhem. Epic fantasy, though? Gunslingers? Blaine the Mono? Glowing wizard balls, finnies, billy bumblers? Giant robot animals with satellite dishes sticking out of their heads? Magic doors and lobstrosities? That's not my thing at all. Did I just force my way through these books out of some self-imposed sense of obligation? My whole life is a lie. Up until this point, I've never had a hard time making a video for this channel. Sure, some videos are more challenging than others, but when it comes to the Dark Tower, I feel that I have got nothing to add to the conversation, and I can't help but wonder if it's because I had convinced myself that I loved the series when it's way beyond my usual taste or outside of the genres I typically enjoy. I really like the first book, which is, of course, the one most which is, of course, the one book that most Dark Tower fans think is the worst one. Don't get me wrong, there is plenty of cool shit that happens over the course of the Dark Tower series. For me, the most memorable parts were when King referenced or inserted places and people from his other books, or when he wrote himself into a story. It's kind of hard to not have your mind blown when King pulls some hyper-meta breaking the fourth wall shit like that. But for the most part, books like Salem's Lot and Carrie and hell, even the Bachman books are more my speed. I mean, if pressed to name my top 10 favorite King books, the Dark Tower novels likely wouldn't be among them. That's not to say I think they're poorly written or boring or anything. Of course not. I don't want to give that impression. What King accomplished with the Dark Tower series is nothing short of groundbreaking. I am by no means an intellectual or a literary scholar, but I am capable of recognizing and acknowledging the layers of world building, the depth of the character development, the intricate navigation of it, an expansive, multi-dimensional timeline. It's all masterfully executed and painstakingly laid out. I can appreciate the detailed, nuanced, and dynamic storytelling, but for some reason I'd rather read something like Christine or even Dreamcatcher. It's sacrilegious, I know, but I firmly believe that no one chooses what appeals to them. Some people like country music, some people like cilantro, some people like Donald Trump, but I don't think anyone has a say necessarily in what they like. Our personal tastes and preferences are either the result of innate arbitrary impulses, or they are inherited, informed, and influenced by our individual circumstances, surroundings, and environments. Regardless, what moves us, excites us, interests us, attracts us, we don't get to decide what the elements that most effectively intrigue us are. I mean, I did predominantly enjoy the Dark Tower series, but it wasn't made for me. It was made for all those creators and readers who couldn't help but to obsess over every detail. It was made for those folks who were willing and perhaps helpless to make detailed, in-depth videos discussing every piece of this King's most complex puzzle and how all the pieces fit together to form a finished image. It was made for them, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little jealous. I want it to be for me too. Maybe I'm just a small-brained, dim-witted numbskull who is incapable of fully appreciating the intricacies of the Dark Tower. Maybe my admittedly limited taste in genre is to blame. Maybe it's not up to me if I love it or not, or maybe this is all a misguided effort to say something unique and to have a hot take. Maybe I was trying so hard to say something new about the Dark Tower that I unwittingly stumbled upon an unfortunate fact about myself. Or maybe it's all of those things, or maybe it's none of them. This entire script has been one long stream of consciousness with minimal editing, and while it's perhaps not exactly what I wanted to say, it's what came out. Unfiltered and full of spontaneous knee-jerk thoughts and statements. It's an unrefined tangent that brought some things to light for me, and a lot of it kind of bums me out, if I'm being honest. I never had a clear goal or defined point that I was trying to make, and I'm not really sure if I made one at all. Suffice it to say, the Dark Tower is revered by many, and for good reason, and I respect that, even if the full impact is lost on simpletons like myself. Final thoughts. I may have accomplished nothing with this video aside from hurting what little credibility I have among my fellow constant readers. But it is what it is. A wise man once said, "One man's meat is another man's poison," and that man was my Uncle Pat. And while the Dark Tower is far from poison for me, I think you get the gist of the sentiment. So if anything, the takeaway from this video is that it's okay to not equally enjoy everything an author writes, especially when said writer has a career that spans nearly 5 decades and their artistic output varies so wildly from one book to the next. Next week, I'll be taking a look at the Creepshow movie that was directed by George Romero, written by Stephen King, and could not be further from the Dark Tower in regards to tone and, well, basically everything. There's a Creepshow comic and a sequel movie too, and from what I understand, Creepshow 2 makes the first movie look like a cinematic masterpiece. So I am really looking forward to that one. New videos drop on this channel every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so pop that subscriber bell right in the mouth to get notifications. Okay, goodbye. Be sure to click like and subscribe to the channel for my continued analysis of all things Stephen King, pretty please with blood and guts on top. My name is Mr. Doyle, and this has been a great undertaking.